Good morning, and welcome to another episode of Vanlife Canada. So if you watched my last video, I spent my first night in Canada after crossing the border at a Walmart in Calgary, and I am still at that Walmart in Calgary. I actually took the day off yesterday and spent some time getting some supplies, preparing for the trip up north, because if you don't know, I am driving all the way up to Alaska, and I just wanted to make extra sure that I was going to be good to go once I got up there, because there's not very many services and not very many people, and it is one of the most remote drives you can take in North America. So I spent the day yesterday driving around to a bunch of different stores, getting a bunch of different supplies, and then today I went in and did some light grocery shopping just so I have enough food for today and tomorrow. And then there's one more larger town that we're going to drive through on the way up north after we pass through Banff and drive through the Canadian Rocky Mountains today. So I'm going to do some bigger grocery shopping once we get up there. But tonight, since it's our second night in Canada, we're going to be making poutine, or Poutine, depending on where you're from. I've heard it pronounced both ways, but I feel like Poutine is in bad taste with the current state of the world. So we're going to call it poutine. And if you aren't familiar with what poutine is, it is a Canadian delicacy of French fries, gravy, and then cheese curds, all cooked together and then eaten with a fork. So we've got everything we need for that. It's also pretty hot out. It's not too bad, but 75 in the back of the van. But in terms of things that I got to prepare for the trip up north and make sure that I'm good to go, I got myself kind of all of this stuff. So I got some Deep Woods extra strength bug spray, because I've heard that the mosquitoes in Alaska are the worst mosquitoes you've ever seen, times 10. So I got some crazy bug spray. I've got a bug jacket, so this covers my head, my arms, and my entire torso if I ever get caught somewhere where there's a bunch of bugs. I've got a little lantern for hanging out at night if it's a little dark out. I've got my bear spray for obvious reasons. I've got my Starlink, so I can stay connected because there's not a lot of service on this highway. Got my milepost book, which is the Everything You Need to Know guide for Alaska. Got myself a little, this was more a present for myself than anything I needed, but I got myself a little survival battle axe, so if I ever need to chop up wood or do anything, I can do that, make myself a little campfire. And then for me, one of the more important pieces, I got this. So it's a jump starter for your car, so if my battery ever dies, I'll be good to go. And then also, the most important piece for me was this air compressor up to 120 PSI. So if I need to, put my front and back tires up and get myself out of somewhere. And then I'm gonna pick up a plug kit a little bit later down the road. So if I ever get any flats, I should be able to save myself and won't have to call anybody. Because that's my number one goal. If I get stuck, I want to be able to get myself out and not have to call anybody. And then the last thing I got is actually outside. So if you guys have been watching my channel for a while, you'll know that when I'm driving the van around down in the States, it doesn't handle very well off-road, doesn't handle well in the mud. It is front-wheel drive, so it has that added benefit over a rear-wheel drive vehicle, because typically front-wheel drive vehicles are better in off-road scenarios because you're getting pulled as opposed to getting pushed by your back wheels. For the entire lifetime of this van, I've just kind of had a hodgepodge of wheels on here. So my back wheels are actually some pretty solid all-terrain kind of off-road tires with some aggressive tread on them, which I'm really happy with. I really like these tires. But my front wheels, I got them replaced in another video when I almost had a blowout on this left one. So I got the front two replaced, and I got all-terrain tires, but I guess they gave me kind of cheap ones, because compared to the tread on the back ones, these really aren't the best. And these are really gonna be the workhorses of the entire trip, pulling me along. So I'm getting brand new beefy off-road mud tires on the front here. In a couple days, I have an appointment on Tuesday at 11 a.m. to get those taken off and replaced with some tires that have a little bit beefier of a tread. And worst case, if nothing else, the beefier tires will give me the peace of mind that if I do go off-road, I'll have a better chance of making it. I'm not toasting the bread. I need to get on the road. I meant to get on the road like an hour ago because it is Sunday. And we're driving up in the Canadian Rockies and to some of the national parks. And with it being a Sunday, I figured it was gonna be pretty busy, so I wanted to get out of here early, but it is now 10 o'clock. I wanted to leave here at 8. Hopefully it's not too bad. I'm also quickly running out of the first iteration of my spice blend. I need to get another one sent to me. And if you guys aren't familiar, I'm coming out with a breakfast seasoning spice blend soon here within the next month or two. Because I love breakfast and I felt like I was only ever putting salt and ketchup on my breakfast sandwiches. And I just wanted something to upgrade them. So hopefully that's out sooner than later. We're still finalizing the recipe and getting the ingredients right. And then you guys will be able to try it. Also, I forgot to mention, I think during this trip, I'm gonna record a video every single day like I did in my series back 3 or 4 months ago, where I did a daily series driving from California all the way back to Maryland. But this trip's gonna be a little bit different because I'm not gonna have the best service, so I'm gonna be recording every single day and documenting every day, all the way up to Alaska, showing you everything that the Alaskan Canadian Highway has to offer. But I might only be posting those videos 1 or 2 times a week, depending on how much service I get. So bear with me as these videos come out. I'm gonna do my best to get as many out as I can, but I guess we'll see. Currently, we are still just outside of Calgary. Today, we are driving about 2 hours up into Banff to Lake Moraine, Lake Louise, and then we're gonna be driving down the Icefields Parkway all the way up to Jasper, and then out of the Rocky Mountains and down into a campsite right on the river somewhere. Total of driving today is gonna be about 5 hours, which is about 1% of what we need to drive to get all the way up to Alaska. I'm very excited to get out of this Walmart parking lot and up more into the mountains and into the wilderness. My back door's open. So we have made it to Lake Louise, and it looks like it is just so many people here. This is kind of why I wanted to get here early, is because I knew that parking was going to be a nightmare. But hopefully we can find a spot somewhere up here. There we go. We got a spot. I guess they were shuttling the correct amount of people up here for the spots that they have. And also, my toilet has come out to say hi, and my phone fell back there on the drive up here. But we made it. For some reason, the drive down to Moraine Lake, I'm not sure how you say it, was closed, so we can't go down there, but I think Lake Louise is just as good from the things I've read, so let's go check it out. And I feel like it's only right to head out to the lake, the good old-fashioned Canada Dry. So I'm not gonna lie, when I got into Canada, I was a bit underwhelmed with the landscape. It was more so just kind of flat farmland, but this is more what I was expecting. I guess parking isn't included in your national park pass for some reason. It was $10 to get in the park and then $21 to park. That is pretty stunning. And it's always so spectacular coming to places like this, and videos really just don't do it justice. It is so crazy. It just feels not real. It's like a blue Gatorade. It's making me thirsty. So this is just stop one of many on the way up to Alaska. It's gonna be hard to beat this one. And I would go rent one of those canoes, but the line is like a mile long. Don't really feel like waiting in it. I'll just sit here, enjoy the views from the banks. I want to jump in so bad though. I'm also really glad the rain stopped. I didn't know if it was going to. Right when I got out of the city, it started pouring rain. And I always think to myself when I come to these places that it genuinely looks like a painting, but then I remember most paintings are of landscape, so that makes sense. Oh, it's actually kind of hot out too. I have to take the sweatshirt off. Also, in case you're wondering, I haven't showered in like 4 days. I think this is the longest I've gone in a long time without a shower. Hopefully I can get one tonight. Bam, 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 bam. So let's get after it. This drive is supposedly one of the most beautiful, if not the most beautiful, drive that you can take in all of Canada. And also, another fun fact about Louise Lake, where we just were, apparently it's the most photographed spot in Canada, and I also read it's the most photographed spot in the entire world. But I'm gonna be honest, I kind of find that hard to believe, but I guess who knows. But either way, it is time to head out from this beautiful lake, get back on the road yet again. All right, so quick change of plans actually. I had to pull into this little day use area in Banff on our way to Jasper. So when I pulled out of Banff and onto the road to the Icefield Parkway towards Jasper, the lady at the little kiosk station told me that the road between Saskatchewan River Crossing and Jasper is closed, which is the road that I was going to take, the Icefields Parkway. She said it's not supposed to open up till 12 tonight, and it's currently only 4 p.m., so I'm not going to be driving all the way down there and waiting till 11 p.m., 12 p.m. tonight, 12 a.m. tonight. So she was speaking really fast, but she gave me directions to where I can go for a little detour. And she said, basically, when I get to the Saskatchewan River crossing, turn right onto Route 11 and drive until I see the Rocky Mountain House. And then I should be able to turn left there and drive up towards Jasper from that spot. But I'm really not sure how long it's going to take to get there, because I have like fake cell service right now. So it says I have 1 bar, but really nothing's loading. So I don't really know how far this spot is going to be. But essentially, I'm just going to drive down the Icefield Parkway until I hit the Saskatchewan River crossing. Then I'm going to turn right. And I think I should be able to find a good campsite right on the river down there. But essentially, I'm just going to drive down that road until I find somewhere to pull over and camp for the night. And then we'll just have to wake up earlier in the morning than we wanted to and drive a little bit farther. It's really not that big of a deal. But anyways, onward. Okay, so we have made it down here to the Saskatchewan River crossing. Absolutely stunning, blue water. Easily one of the most breathtaking drives that I've ever taken in my entire life, and I've been to a lot of places. Glacier, Yosemite, Yellowstone. I think this place tops them all. I mean, it's like Yosemite but on steroids. It's absolutely massive. It's kind of weirdly, sporadically sunny, raining weather. It's very strange. Torrential downpour, and then I'll drive through pockets like this where it's blue skies and cloudy. So I'm gonna drive down this highway 11 right up here at this turn, and I'm just gonna drive until I see a spot that looks good enough. And what I mean by good enough is good enough road, good enough spot where I can camp for the night. It's only about a couple miles down this road until we're outside of the park where we're able to camp, so hopefully we can find something. Yeah, it's like sunny blue skies over there and then dark clouds over there. So I don't know, I guess we'll see. All right, so I pulled over here right at the entrance to that road, and I found a few spots. There's some closer to where we are and then some farther from where we are, but a lot of them say that you need 4-wheel drive and do not go down if it's rainy. So I'm just gonna try out a few of them and see if we can make something work. First one isn't too far down the road though. But I mean, look at these views. It's just breathtaking, and the camera probably isn't doing it justice. These mountains are massive. We're hoping we're gonna be able to find somewhere, because it does look like up there it is indeed raining. And I really don't want to push my luck before I get these new tires, so as we'll see. Alright, so there should be a road coming up here on the left that maybe we can pull down into. We'll find a spot. I guess we'll see. Looks like some sort of maintenance road back here. I'm really not too sure. But the road is really nice. It's a nice gravel road. I feel like even if this was wet, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. Looks like that might be a fire pit right there. Maybe we'll just take this spot. Park up off the road just in case there's like any kind of maintenance people that need to come here. But I think this is gonna be our spot for the night. Crazy mountain views. This is amazing. Seems like there's also a fire pit right in the middle. But I don't know if I want to drive down there. This spot though I think seems fine for now, so this will have to be our tentative campsite for the night. I think we're far enough off the road to where we're not really impeding anybody if they need to drive by, so there you go. Kind of a stunning area too. I mean, surrounded by cliffs and ridgelines and mountains all over the place. Far enough off the road. We got this embankment, so I can't really hear it. It should probably die down at night too. And then this is the campsite that I was talking about right in the middle. It's kind of weird though. And also, I don't know how this works when it rains and stuff, so I'd rather be up high than down low. But there's a campsite down there. And then there's this campsite right here off to the side. I mean, I'm assuming it's a campsite. I really don't know. There's a big fire pit here, so I can't see why it wouldn't be. Not a bad spot for the first night in the Canadian wilderness. Also, an added benefit of this place is I have absolutely no cell signal. I haven't had it for the last hour and a half, 2 hours. but it's kind of a big enough bowl that I think Starlink should work fine. Typically Starlink doesn't work very well in valleys, but I've got pretty good coverage of the sky, so I'm gonna get that set up and see what kind of signal we're getting. No, got it. I really wish that when I was building my van, I thought about putting Starlink in, because having a more permanent install would have made this 10 times better to use, because I could just click it on whenever I wanted to. Having to go set it up every time kind of gets to be annoying. But I will say I do have the perfect spot for it up on my roof. There we go. And I'm pretty sure this thing can operate in the rain, snow, sleet. I think it has a snow melt feature even on it. So wherever it gets covered in snow, you can turn on like a heat source and it'll melt it for you. Window it is. There we go. That's pretty much all it is to set it up. Now I just gotta go plug the router in, see what kind of connection we got. I'll just let it power up and connect, and hopefully we have Wi-Fi. Takes like 5 or 10 minutes to get like a stable connection, so we'll just leave that up there and just kind of wait. Oh, I guess maybe there is something back there. It's not even worth it to drive back there and see. My spot is good enough, and also kind of being down below eliminates some of that road noise anyway, so I'm happy with my spot. All right, so I took my hat off and I'm just testing the connection. We're getting 100 megabytes per second out here in the wilderness of Alberta. That is so crazy. And we're even getting 30 megabytes upload. That is actually ridiculously fast internet. But we're connected, so that's good. So first things first, with this poutine recipe, I gotta chop up some fries. And I'm thinking I might do them a little bit... I see a mosquito. He flew away. I'm thinking I might do them a little bit thicker than I would normally do French fries, since they're gonna be in a poutine, but not too thick, where it just tastes like you're eating a big chunk of potato. All right, I'm just gonna close this door. I don't wanna deal with it later tonight. And plus I've got the bug screen in the back that I just double checked and made sure there weren't any holes in, so that should keep the mosquitoes out if I keep the door open on that end. All right, I think that should be enough. I left some of them short, I left some of them long. Good mixture of fries in there. I'm just gonna let these soak in a bowl of cold water for 30 minutes. And while we wait for those to soak, I'm probably gonna get started on the gravy. And set those off to the side. So for the gravy we need cornstarch, water, some butter, and then those broths I bought. So first things first, I'm going to add 1.5 tablespoons of cornstarch into this little like serving side dish bowl that I have. And I'm gonna mix that with 1 tablespoon of water and just kind of let that dissolve in there. Add a quick mix. It almost feels like I'm making oobleck like back in the day when I was in high school. I used to make that like Newtonian fluid stuff. So essentially what this is, just a lot more viscous. Now that we've got that solution, we can move on to actually cooking some gravy. So to the pot, I'm gonna add 3 tablespoons of butter. Let that melt down, and I hope this is enough. I need at least 1/4 of a cup of flour. This is all I have left. And once the butter cooks down, we're gonna add that flour and then cook it till it's just about golden brown. Also, I really can't believe that that is the view out of my back door. Looks like I'm in Disney World looking at the Matterhorn or something. Crazy. But while I was waiting for this butter to melt, which it just about is, I also got the oven started up and preheating so that it's ready to go when those potatoes are done soaking. All right, so I realized after I put it in, I didn't add enough butter, so I added a little more, and now we'll cook this down. And I'm not really sure what the conversion rate for this like concentrated beef broth and concentrated chicken broth is gonna be, so I'm just gonna dump some in there, add some water, and hope for the best once this turns a golden brown. All right, that looks like it's just about the right colors, so I'm gonna go ahead and add, it seems like from the box, it's a 3-to-1 ratio, so I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of each of the concentrated broth. 1, 2, 1, 2, And then I'm gonna add about a half a cup of water to dilute that down, and that should be good. That looks pretty good. So the only purpose for the cornstarch and the water mixture is really to thicken it up if you want kind of a thicker gravy, but I don't really like too thick of a gravy, and this is already a pretty good consistency. I might honestly add a little bit more water to it. All I gotta do now is wait for those potatoes, bake them up, and we're eating. All right, it's been about 30 minutes. I got the gravy kind of on the back burner with nothing on, just kind of waiting, and I'll reheat it later when I'm ready. These taters have been sitting here for a while. I think they're good to go. Drain those real quick. And we'll make sure to get these nice and dry. So I'm just gonna reuse this pot, throw them back in here, and get them coated with a fine layer of oil. For seasonings, we're gonna keep it pretty simple. Just hit them with some garlic powder, some salt, some fresh pepper. I'm gonna crack this door a little bit. Oh, it's hot. There we go. There's our French fries. I think this oven should be preheated, and I think, you know what? I'm just gonna build my own tray out of tinfoil. There we go. That's my little homemade fry tray. Beautiful. Now we'll crank the oven up, let them cook for like 20 minutes, maybe flip them after 15. Just kind of play it by ear. But I think while those cook, I'm actually gonna head outside. And since I have about 20 minutes, I'm gonna take a shower because it is nice and warm with the sun. Turn my water heater on, get that heating up for about 10 minutes. Then we should have enough hot water to take a shower. These bugs get in here. I also am in bear country, so that's something I'm gonna have to start thinking about when I'm sitting here cooking with the door open. So normally I wouldn't do this with pants on, but since this is going on YouTube, I have to. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm still kind of upset that my shower holder is broken. I just gotta jimmy rig this up there. Nice and hot. Woo! This is gonna feel good. Oh, it's been so long. Oh, this feels so good. That is the one thing though that sucks about these outdoor showers is I've only got 5 gallons, so I can't just sit there and bask in the hot water. It's actually quite a pleasant experience when it's not freezing cold outside and the sun's out. It feels so good. There you go. It's a Canadian alpine shower for you. I'm gonna get myself dried off real quick and hopefully those fries are done pretty soon. All right, I think these look just about ready for a quick flip and then maybe another 10 minutes. And I just kind of realized that I don't want just French fries to be my dinner, so I think I'm also gonna make a quick burger. 10 minutos. We're gonna keep these burgers pretty simple. Not really gonna do too much. And I'm gonna season it up with just some of this roasted garlic and herb seasoning and throw it in the pan. All right, I think these burgers are just about done. I also took the gravy and added a little bit more stock and a little bit more water to it because I figured out the reason that it was so thick when I first started was because I halved the recipe but didn't have the flour. So now it's a much better gravy consistency. I'm a lot happier with. These are definitely done, probably overdone. I'm gonna throw some cheese on one of them, but I'm probably only gonna eat actually one of these guys, so. Perfect. All right, so I took the fries out, and I think it's just because this oven sucks, but they are just not getting crispy in the oven, so I'm gonna take this burger out, wipe this pan down, and just fry them up until they're crispy. All right, there we go. Now those look like some respectable French fries. I've reheated the gravy up, and also off camera while I was waiting for those to fry, I made myself a little lettuce wrap because I'm trying to make this burger a little healthier, so that's how we're gonna eat that. And then essentially, you just take some of this gravy. Oh, you have to turn the heat off first. Take some gravy, throw it over the fries, toss them around in it. Take those, dump them out on the plate. Top those bad boys with some white cheddar cheese curds, fresh black pepper. That is some good old-fashioned, authentic Canadian poutine with a little veggie burger. Now let's eat because I'm starving. So, because of the way poutine is cooked, you do have to eat it with a fork or else it would get pretty messy on you pretty fast. I'll give you guys one last look at this glorious plate of poutine before I dig into it. Cheers. Wow. It's honestly such a good way to do cheese fries. Like, it sounds gross, like gravy, cheese curds, French fries, but it's actually so good. And I will say lettuce wraps aren't the most convenient way to eat a burger, but it does make them a bit healthier. Honestly though, if you've never had poutine, you should really try it because it is quite delicious. So far, I think Canada, specifically this area, might be one of my favorite places I've ever been. I think this is probably the most Canadian thing someone could do. Eating poutine, camping in the Canadian Rockies, drinking Canada Dry. B-E-A, beautiful. Oh, purple. It's the worst flavor. I will admit that little montage I had there might have been a bit unnecessary, but I just wanted another reason to take out the drone because this landscape is just so cool. That river that was over there that I was filming, so blue. Everything out here is so blue. It's so crazy. But as I'm sitting out here, I also went over to the, there are some campsites if you drive up that ridge. I walked up there, and they're honestly kind of a little bit better because they're on the ridge. You can see the mountains a little better. I took my new axe out and I was throwing it at the stump up there for like 20 minutes. Skeeters are definitely starting to come out a little bit more now that the sun's going down. And it's so crazy. When I first found out that the road was closed and I wasn't going to be able to drive the full parkway, I was pretty bummed out because I had everything planned out. I had where I was going to camp, everything was done. But I honestly don't think that the spot that I was going to was going to be anywhere near as spectacular as this spot has turned out to be. And honestly, I think that's why it's so important to keep a positive mindset, because you never know what kind of good can come out of a bad situation. Because even if the situation does continue to get worse, going at it with a positive mindset is always better than going at it with a negative mindset. A positive mindset can't help you achieve anything, but it can help you achieve anything better than a negative mindset. But anyways, finished my popsicle. Might not look like it, but it is 9 p.m. The sun just sets very late. I think I am going to just clean up all my mess from dinner, crawl into bed, and maybe watch a movie on my Starlink just because I can. So, as always, I truly appreciate you guys watching. If you haven't already, think about clicking that subscribe button. It really does help out the channel. I truly can't say it enough how much I appreciate you guys. And since I'm doing daily videos, I will catch you guys in my next video in the morning.